everybody, good morning. I will introduce myself in just a bit here, but before I do that, just wanted to cover off on some benefits to breastfeeding, right? Some of y'all might be aware of this, but there are so many benefits to feeding breast milk to children up to their 1-year birthday for both the mom and the baby. It actually reduces mom's risk of cancers, and it improves cognitive ability, brain development, immune system growth. That's probably why they call it liquid gold. But there's a major problem when it comes to breast pumping in practice. The act of pumping milk for the mom sucks, literally and figuratively, especially when you're pumping every 2 to 4 hours around the clock and you're not at home. In fact, I did a little bit of research, and I found that more moms stop breastfeeding earlier than they planned due to the inconvenience of pumping than physical pain. And I'll tell you, breast pumping is not very comfortable. And one of the reasons that I found is an acute problem within this inconvenience space that might seem small, but there's women across the world grasping at straws to find a better solution, and that is cleaning pump parts, especially when you're not at home. It becomes pretty clear why this is a problem when you consider the CDC's 8-step process for properly cleaning your pump parts. It includes everything from finding a dedicated basin, sterilizing it, scrubbing it with a brush, and then my personal favorite is letting it air dry. When you are not at home, that's difficult at best and impossible at worst. So hello, I'm Erin Martin, and I personally have been there. I had my daughter, Allie, back in 2021, and I was an ambitious career woman. Like, I still wanted to feed my daughter breast milk, and I wanted to advance my career, and I was pumping and cleaning pump parts pretty much everywhere you can imagine. Me and that pump were like this, like every 2 to 4 hours. And as somebody who's launched tons of products on behalf of other companies, and as a sustainability and material science nerd, self-proclaimed, I decided I was going to do something about it. So I wanted to marry those two passions and come up with a better solution to make pumping more accessible so that women could extend their pumping journey. So introducing Pump for Joy. Pump for Joy is the world's very first single-use but 100% biodegradable breast milk collection kit. So if you're familiar with a pump, right, it's every part of the pump that comes in contact with breast milk during a pumping session in a material that can biodegrade in a matter of months as opposed to centuries. No guilt about a disposable product. It is completely biodegradable. I like to think of it as the Dollar Shave Club of breast pumping. So I want to sell this in an e-commerce subscription model where moms can purchase them in certain increments of kits. They'll get delivered to their door every month on the dot, and it ranges from $36 a month for 12 kits up to $88 for 32 kits a month. And at an average about $50, if we average that out per month, that means that I need only a little bit more than 1,600 customers to break that 1 million annual revenue mark. The thing I'm most excited about is the material, right? So I'm a material science nerd, and this is a new novel material called PHA. This cup is made of PHA. I did not make this cup. This is another company that made this cup. But if anybody's interested, it looks and feels just like plastic, but it doesn't leave behind any microplastics, and it can biodegrade in as little as 80 days, in some cases even less than that, and then up to 3.5 years. Contrast that to 450 years that it takes to biodegrade regular plastic. I know this has legs because I have interest from my target market, done customer discovery. People are really, really excited about this. These are women who work outside the home. They are generally pretty affluent. They pump at least twice a day outside the home, and they call it game-changing. In fact, I ran a waitlist campaign and individually reached out to everybody on that waitlist, thinking maybe some of them were bots. No, I got a 90% response rate from those women, including things saying that this would be amazing, that they can't wait till it's live, and that this is doing a great service for lactating women. It also makes business sense, considering that 95% of lactating women pump at least once in their breastfeeding journey, that the market for breastfeeding accessories in the US is $2.5 billion. Capturing just 1% of that market equates to a $25 million revenue opportunity. And since this is such a niche market, solving such an acute problem, I anticipate being able to capture even more than that. So my path to launch is clear. Right now, I am in the final stages of picking the material and picking a factory, bringing them together to create my golden sample with injection molding. At that point, I'll have a prototype in hand, and I hope to test that with a group of 30 lactating women over the course of the next couple of months to get their feedback and iterate on the design. From there, I need to register with the FDA. This is a Class 1 medical device, fun. And so there's some safety testing that I'll need to do and get that registered. And from there, my goal is to be in market by the end of 2025. So to make this happen, I have a couple of asks. I am currently actively seeking $50,000 investment for the promise of future equity to fund the prototype sampling and tooling that's bringing them together with injection molding and beta testing with these lactating moms to get some incredible learnings around efficacy and comfort. So with your help, let's make breastfeeding easier for active moms together. Thank you.
We'll start. Mark, we'll start with you.
We'll start with Mark.
We'll start with Mark. We're going to start on my side.
Yeah, great presentation. Yeah, I would say being an OG, dating myself here, like that's a top 5% presentation for those who have either been here or never been here. The reason I would say that, so I'll point out the positives. One, like your grasp of the material is unquestionable, right? So that's the thing about pitches, like you have to kind of grind on that pitch so much that it's almost just kind of reflexive. Like the data and the commentary and the color just kind of come together magically. So we've joked in the past, like this is kind of sometimes like playing an instrument on a stage. Like if you haven't mastered the instrument, it's not going to sound great. Obviously in a solo or in a group setting, you've mastered the instrument. The thing I liked is like how you actually started with, one of the things I like the most is how you started with the problem statement. So the hook came really early as to why this matters. That's a really good way to get a prospective investor, at least, which is my mindset, kind of into the problem set, right? So like, what are we trying to solve? And I didn't get past 30 seconds questioning that, right? So if you can get problem statement, target market, and kind of here's my solution, which I think you did in like less than 2 minutes, you're cooking with gasoline. So that sequencing of like, there's a problem in the market, I've identified it, I'm uniquely qualified, and here's what I'm going to do about it. Like, Erin just nailed that. So anyone who wants to watch that on the replay, like that's kind of the pace at which you should run a 5-minute presentation. These formats are like, it's here and then maybe it's a kind of a speed dating conference where you might try to meet other entrepreneurs or investors like ourselves. So it's like you got to get to that problem statement super fast. So I would say like that's probably the most interesting part of that 5 minutes to me. The hook was clear and early.
Couldn't agree more. I'm not an OG like Mark, but I think about this 3 or 4 times.
You've seen a few pitches?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's probably that is definitely one of the top ones that I've seen at PitchBreakfast. So well done, really excellent. The same type of thing. I wrote down like 2 notes, which is very rare for me. But yeah, the first thing I wrote down was that you're so passionate about it. Like it came off right away. Like it makes you want to pay attention to you. So your pacing was great too. Like Mark called it out. Just even things like the slide changes or all that kind of stuff at the exact moment that you want it to. Like you're ready for that next point. You did a great job. Obviously, you've practiced it a ton, so very well done. Yeah, I found myself also like using the physical example of the cup. Like that's really well done too. Like who doesn't want to come up and touch that cup now? Like everybody wants to come up and see it. Yeah, so like I really want to go see that now, especially with something so new like that. So yeah, all that to say, excellent job.
Good presentation. I do have actual questions for you. So first question, how protectable is what you've created? IP, are you seeking patents? Talk to me about that.
Provisional patent. I am hoping to get that golden sample in my hand before filing for the official utility patent, but I have been working with an IP lawyer and we do feel that it is patentable with the material and the design combination.
Perfect. So that's what I wanted to hear. I would tuck that in somewhere in your presentation. So this is absolutely my space as far as healthcare is concerned. So it's really intriguing, but that was my first question. If you are creating prototypes, I would definitely hope that you have started that journey. So yes. Good job. And then are you working with a regulatory person specifically on your path to market there?
I am. I'm working with consultants and we have identified, right now we're still actively in that engagement, but we are pretty confident it's going to be class 1, which is huge. I originally thought it was going to be class 2, which as you can imagine is a lot more stuff to go through. Yeah. But we are pretty confident that we've identified the category code and now it's just a matter of going through the tests and getting that registration.
A predicate device pathway, or you're going to have to go novel?
So this doesn't have to even require that. It's exempt from 510K. So this means that we would just have to prove the safety and efficacy, and then we could go to market.
Okay, awesome. You know your time to market from your safety tests?
I'm not sure. I haven't really stepped into that yet. I'm still waiting on the final list of timelines and estimated costs for the FDA, and then I'll start to timeline that out and start to raise for that.
Awesome. And then just one question you may not know the answer to, but since it is biodegradable, do you know what the shelf life, anticipated shelf life is going to be?
That's a good question. I don't. I am working with a material provider right now, and that's one of the key questions I'm going to ask. Also with sterilization, it has to withstand sterilization too.
Okay. No, I think it is super interesting, and then, packable. I've seen the way people treat things when they pack them away. So one of my very good friends is a material scientist in Boston, and he works on degradable, collapsible materials.
Really?
And yeah, I know, I have weird friends.
That's awesome.
But one of the things that he especially likes to work on is when people put things in their bags, especially women. And I didn't bring my bag in, it has a lot of crap in it. It gets hot and it mimics the biodegradable process. So when you're doing your testing, have some woman put it through the paces of her purse, because it will fire test your biodegradability in a way that's not intended to degrade, but not before you use it, right? And so that will help you to really understand real world testing, because the integrity of your materials are going to need to withstand kind of the rough and tumble purse and diaper bag behaviors.
Never considered that, so thank you.
But no, excellent job, and definitely, if you don't have my contact information, I would be very interested in talking to you later.
Awesome, thank you.
Just to follow up on that, because I think there were 3 swim lanes that I would follow up with you. Sometimes in these feedback sessions, where would the next conversation have to happen? Call it product efficacy testing was like a swim lane. FDA, as soon as you say those 3 letters, I'm like, ding, ding, ding. I know nothing about it, but I do know it's a thing. You know a lot more. The third is actually supply chain and obviously sourcing. So that's just my general feedback to you, is you were definitely going to have to, I think, start to segment those, swim lanes or really risk lanes is what they are, and how you're thinking about them. And then the other question I was going to follow up with, why only 50K? It's a very low number, and this feels like a big move, right? So say more there maybe, or yeah.
I mean, it's funny because this is my first time actually asking for any money in a pitch like this. And so I threw a number out there that I think is my best guess for the initial prototyping, tooling, and sampling, plus the beta.
On there, because you showed us a December 25.
No, I'm hoping to do that within the span of a quarter. Okay. So, and maybe I could think bigger, if I want to ask for a larger amount of money that spans a larger amount of time, I'm happy to consider that. In my brain, I've been taking this milestone by milestone by milestone, right? So if I have to break that mindset a little bit.
I'm going to give you an analogy.
Okay.
And I give this to a lot of startups and pitchers. If you are I'm going to call you a racehorse. And if you're a racehorse, money and capital is your fuel, right? And so you're taking in that money and that fuel. Every time you get to a pace, once you raise the money and you're on the track and you're running at full sprint, if you have to get off because you just ran out of fuel and go raise money, you got to stop. It's going to slow you way down. You got to go raise money and then get back on the track again. So you want to think about your race as, how do I stay on this track long enough so that I can keep running, building my product and my business? Because getting off the track costs you money, it costs you customers, and it costs you time. So raising money is a full-time job, and it's not something you're going to do just on the weekends or just, in the evenings. So just think about every time you have to go to quarter or check to check, you're getting off the track and you're slowing down your company and your growth. So just think, oh no, I gotta slow down, I gotta get off the track, I gotta, So just think about that. So when you're thinking, oh, just a little bit, I just need to get to the next quarter, just think, oh no, I gotta get off the track and I gotta walk again. So just keep that in your mind. You don't wanna run out of fuel. But good job, and give me a call.
Also, investors, that's spot on. That's the best thing you might hear today, by the way. And not to try to tell you you can leave now, but what was just said is absolutely true. From an investor's point of view, $50,000, it depends on, I don't know how much money all of you are meant. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. A lot of seed investors are going to want to put 100,000, 250,000. So you need to know their target size, right? If you're pitching these guys later, hey, where are you? 200, 250 as a minimum? Because a lot of people just won't do the work for 50.
You should definitely be thinking about 18 to 24 months down the road. I really appreciate the capital efficiency. That's what we tend to invest in. Like, really appreciate that mindset. $50,000 is a lot of money. You are absolutely correct. To investors, it is not that much money, and they want to be able to put in money to work, especially with a fund size big enough. Like, you have to be able to write a check big enough to make a difference. Right. So yeah, I'd be thinking it's great to be able to spell that out and say, hey, we think we need 50K for the first quarter. We think we need whatever 150K for the next quarter, things like that. That shows the capital efficiency and that, like, you know what you're doing and you've looked at this. But yeah, ask for more.
Awesome. Let's give it up for Aaron. Yeah.